Have you ever looked at your patio or a small garden space and wished it could give you a meaningful harvest without the backbreaking work? You are not alone. As we get older, we still crave the joy of growing, but our bodies ask for a gentler approach. What if I told you that you do not need acres of land or heavy machinery to grow some of the most valuable plants in the world? Right now, people with just a sunny balcony or a spare room are quietly cultivating highly prized crops. Today, I will show you exactly which plants turn small, accessible spaces into rewarding, high-value gardens, completely changing the way you think about farming. Let us begin with something that completely removes the need for soil, hot sun, and heavy digging. Specialty mushrooms like oyster and lion's mane are technically fungi, but they are the ultimate crop for anyone wanting to avoid physical strain. You do not need a garden bed. You only need a spare room, a clean basement, or a temperature-controlled garage. The entire growing process happens at waist height on simple wire shelving. Your role shifts from heavy laborer to a manager of the environment. You simply monitor humidity, temperature, and fresh air. It is a clean, quiet, and predictable routine. The growth cycle is incredibly fast, often yielding a harvest in just a few weeks. The demand for these mushrooms is staggering, driven by both culinary enthusiasts and the wellness market. Lion's mane is especially prized for cognitive health. If you grow more than you can eat, they dry beautifully. A small jar of dried specialty mushroom powder takes up zero space, requires no heavy lifting, and commands a premium price from local chefs and health food buyers. It is the perfect low-impact starting point. Stepping outside to a sunny patio, we find a flower that acts as a continuous, gentle harvest. Calendula, also known as pot marigold, feels less like farming and more like a relaxing morning meditation. It is incredibly forgiving and thrives in medium-sized containers or elevated planter boxes, making it perfect for balconies where deep soil is impossible. What makes calendula ideal for this stage of life is the way you harvest it. It blooms continuously, and the more you pick, the more it grows. The work involves taking a small pair of snips and gently pinching off mature flower heads. You can do this in minutes while holding your morning coffee. The true value lies in the vibrant petals. Once dried on a simple mesh screen, they become a highly prized ingredient for natural skincare and herbal teas. Local soap makers and wellness brands constantly search for pure, locally grown calendula to use for its soothing, anti-inflammatory properties. You are turning a peaceful daily habit into a valuable raw material, all from a few easy-to-reach pots on your deck. Next, let us explore a crop that proves massive value can come from the tiniest spaces. Saffron is legendary, historically traded as currency and valued more than gold. That value is concentrated in 3 tiny red threads inside an autumn-blooming crocus. Many assume growing the world's most expensive spice requires vast fields. The reality is the opposite. Saffron can only be harvested delicately by human hands. Machines destroy it. This need for gentle labor is a huge advantage for a patio gardener. You can plant dozens of saffron corms in shallow, well-draining containers at waist height. They spend summer dormant, requiring almost no care. Then, in the crisp autumn air, they push up beautiful purple flowers. You can sit comfortably in a chair, pulling your pots close, and carefully pluck the threads. It requires patience, not a strong back. While it takes many flowers to make an ounce, a small container garden provides enough luxury spice for your own kitchen for a year. If you choose to sell, local gourmet chefs eagerly buy authentic, locally grown saffron at premium prices. Sometimes the smartest crops are the ones that demand patience rather than daily interference. Heirloom hardneck garlic is the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it plant. We are not talking about cheap grocery store garlic. We are talking about complex gourmet varieties that chefs hunt for. For an older gardener, this crop is an absolute gift. You plant the individual cloves in raised beds during the cool autumn months, ensuring you never have to bend too far. You cover them with mulch, and then you essentially ignore them all winter while you stay warm inside. They establish roots quietly. In early summer, you easily snap off the curly scapes for cooking, and later gently pull the bulbs from the loose soil. Garlic's greatest asset is timing leverage. Once pulled, you simply hang it in a breezy spot to cure. It requires no electricity or physical effort. Once cured, it stores for months. You can keep it through the winter, enjoying or sharing it long after the growing season ends. It is a crop that completely respects your physical energy and your personal schedule. Let us look at a plant that brings enduring beauty and value without demanding constant replanting. Lavender acts as reliable infrastructure in your garden. It is a tough, drought-tolerant perennial. You do the light work of planting it once in a well-draining container or raised bed, and it rewards you year after year. It actually dislikes being fussed over or overwatered, making it wonderfully low stress. Lavender is a plant that sells a feeling. Just the scent brings a sense of calm. The harvest is simply snipping the elegant stems as the flowers open. Gathering and hanging a bundle to dry is one of the most pleasant tasks you can undertake, with zero heavy lifting. Once dried, these bundles are incredibly versatile. They can be used in natural crafting or the buds stripped for culinary teas and baking. People love having authentic, locally grown lavender in their homes. By growing just a few large pots, you create a steady supply of this highly desirable sensory product that simply makes life more pleasant without ever straining your back. We often associate root crops with heavy digging and muddy boots. However, ginger can be approached entirely differently. Ginger is experiencing a massive surge in global demand as a foundational ingredient in both culinary and natural wellness circles. To grow ginger without the backache, we abandon the traditional garden bed. Instead, we use lightweight fabric grow bags placed on a covered patio. Ginger loves loose soil and warm, slightly shaded environments. It grows tall, tropical leaves all summer. The genius of this method reveals itself at harvest. Instead of prying roots out of compacted earth with a heavy fork, you simply tip the grow bag over onto a clean tarp. The loose soil falls away effortlessly. You can sit comfortably in a chair while retrieving pristine roots. To multiply its value, you do not just use it fresh. You wash it, slice it thinly, dry it, and grind it in a simple spice grinder. A small jar of aromatic homegrown ginger powder is a premium product that lasts for months, turning heavy agriculture into a light, rewarding patio craft. Following a similar method to ginger, turmeric is another high-value root that thrives in accessible grow bags. Turmeric has crossed from a simple kitchen spice to a global health phenomenon. It is the star of the modern wellness movement, used in everything from joint health supplements to anti-inflammatory teas. Growing it in fabric pots on your deck means absolutely no heavy lifting during the growing season. It requires consistent moisture and warmth, but very little physical intervention. Like ginger, the harvest is as simple as tipping the bag and collecting the bright orange rhizomes. The critical factor for turmeric is processing. Selling or using raw roots is fine, but properly drying and grinding turmeric into a fine powder multiplies its value exponentially. A small jar of high-quality, homegrown turmeric powder commands a premium price from health-conscious consumers and local apothecaries. By investing a little time in drying and grinding at your kitchen counter, you create a highly concentrated, valuable product that stores easily in your pantry, proving that processing is the key to maximizing value without maximizing physical labor. For those who enjoy a precise, controlled environment, real wasabi is an extraordinary opportunity. Most of the wasabi consumed in restaurants is actually a mix of horseradish and green dye. Authentic wasabi is incredibly rare and highly prized by gourmet chefs who are willing to pay top dollar for the real thing. It requires very specific conditions: cool temperatures, high humidity, and shade. While this sounds complicated, it actually makes it perfect for a specialized small-scale indoor or shaded patio setup. You do not need acres of land. You need a carefully managed microclimate. The complexity of growing wasabi is its own form of protection. Most people will not bother to learn its needs, which keeps competition incredibly low and prices extremely high. By mastering the specific water and shade requirements of this single plant, you can produce a luxury item in a very small footprint. It teaches us that growing one challenging thing extraordinarily well is far more lucrative and physically manageable than trying to grow huge volumes of common vegetables. Excellence becomes your leverage. Moving into the shade. Let us consider a crop that requires the ultimate patience but zero daily maintenance. Ginseng. If you have a small patch of shaded wooded area on your property, you hold a massive advantage. Ginseng thrives in the shade of trees, places where conventional vegetables would die. It operates on a timeline of years, not months. You plant the seeds in the forest floor and then you walk away. It is an investment that quietly compounds underground. Wild simulated ginseng, aged 6 years or more, commands hundreds of dollars per pound. Buyers in the wellness and traditional medicine industries constantly search for high-quality, mature roots. The physical work is minimal. The true requirement is simply the willingness to wait. This is the perfect legacy crop. You plant it when you are 60, and by the time you are 66, you have a crop of immense value sitting quietly under the trees. It proves that you do not need to constantly toil in the sun to generate wealth from the land. Let time do the work that your muscles used to do. Let us look at a plant that is virtually indestructible and asks almost nothing of your physical energy. Aloe vera is a humble succulent that scales beautifully in a patio environment. It thrives in warm, sunny spots and actually prefers to be left alone when it comes to watering. You can grow dozens of these in simple terracotta pots on a deck. The demand for aloe vera is staggering. You will find it in pharmacies, cosmetic aisles, and health food stores globally. While large farms supply the bulk market, local handmade soap makers and boutique skincare formulators are always looking for fresh, locally grown aloe. The harvest involves simply slicing off the thick outer leaves with a sharp knife. There is no digging, no heavy lifting, and no complicated processing if you are selling fresh leaves locally. It resists pests naturally and produces for years from a single planting. It is a consistent, reliable plant that provides a steady stream of valuable material with an absolute minimum of daily maintenance, making it a perfect companion for a relaxed gardening lifestyle. Another incredible option for container gardening is stevia. As the world continuously searches for natural alternatives to sugar, the demand for stevia has skyrocketed. What makes stevia powerful for a small-scale gardener is its concentration. A tiny amount of stevia replaces a massive volume of sugar. This means you do not need to grow bulk weight to create something highly valuable. Stevia grows wonderfully in medium-sized pots on a sunny balcony. It can be harvested multiple times throughout the summer by simply snipping the leafy stems. Again, this is light, comfortable work that you can do standing up. The real secret to stevia is processing. Raw leaves are one thing, but drying and crumbling them into a fine powder creates a premium product that stores beautifully in your pantry. By taking this small extra step indoors, you multiply your value. You are producing a highly sought-after pure sweetener that requires very little space to grow and even less space to store, entirely avoiding the heavy, sweaty work of traditional vegetable farming. Now that we have explored these 11 incredible plants, from indoor mushrooms to patio saffron and shaded ginseng, how do you choose the right one for you?
The secret is to use the two-speed strategy. You should never try to grow all of these at once. Instead, compare your options based on the time you want to invest. If you want immediate engagement and fast results, specialty mushrooms or calendula are your absolute best choices. They provide a quick, satisfying rhythm of light daily work.
If you prefer a hands-off approach and have the patience to wait, garlic and ginseng are the undisputed winners. You plant them and let time do the heavy lifting. However, if I had to recommend just one single plant that offers the perfect balance of low physical effort, continuous harvest, and high value, I would choose calendula. It thrives in containers, asks for very little soil depth, and the daily habit of snipping flowers is genuinely relaxing. It gives you immediate visual beauty and yields a valuable product that dries easily on your kitchen counter. Look at your space right now. Assess your sunlight, your available containers, and your patience level. Choose just one fast-to-speed plant to start with and perhaps one slow-speed plant to tuck away for the future. Excellence in just one small area is far more rewarding than struggling with a dozen. The transition away from heavy, exhausting gardening does not mean giving up on your passion. It simply means gardening smarter. By choosing high-value crops that respect your physical energy,
you can enjoy the profound peace of working with nature while producing something truly exceptional. Take your time, pick your plant, and enjoy every quiet moment. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Happy growing!